Hello everyone, so in this video I'm going to show you three different counts which works pretty much the same almost. It's going to be the block push-off, the Elmsley count, and the Jordon count. And then at the end I'm going to show you a performance that utilizes the Elmsley count. So I'm going to begin with the purpose of the block push-off, which is concealing the second card from the top. Okay, so this is how it goes. You only have 1, 2, 3, and 4 cards, and then it's going to end up all the way at the bottom. Then the next is going to be the Jordon count, which is concealing the card all the way at the bottom. Okay, so it ends at third position from the top. Then the Elmsley count, which is concealing the card on the third position, and it's going to end up all the way at the bottom once again. Okay, but the Elmsley count is the most used and the move that you have to know. And I'm going to discuss some of the issues that I see a lot of illusionists going through and some of the mistakes, that I see people doing. And then, like I said, at the end, I'm going to show you the performance. Now, the Elmsley count is the count that I'm going to start explaining right now, which is concealing the third card from the top, because even in your card, you have to conceal a card that is all the way at the bottom. Usually magicians, they just move that top card all the way at the bottom. So the Elmsley count, I'm just going to break it in 5 different steps. The step number 1, to conceal the card in the third position. I'm going to leave this card face up because I'm going to reuse this card. So I want you to keep an eye on this one too. The grip is the mechanic's grip. As you can see, notice the index finger is right here on the corner. So by pushing with my thumb, I'm just pulling one card. And then the same thing is going to happen with my thumb. I'm going to put it over here, halfway on top of the pocket and halfway outside. So with a middle finger, I'm going to drag the card all the way at the bottom. Okay, that's the second step. The third step is moving the top card from the top to the bottom and reusing that card. Okay, so it goes right inside these fingers and the pocket. I'm going to discuss some of the issues that I see a lot of people doing in a minute. So once again, step number 1, tip of the index halfway under, halfway outside. So you ensure only one card, and the same thing with your thumb in the step number 2. The step number 3 is reusing this card and putting it all the way at the bottom once again. So the fourth step is clipping right here on the corner these 2 cards, the second and the third card. You're gonna take those 2 as one. In the process of the Elmsley count, these 2 cards, they never separate. Just imagine these 2 have a double-sided tape, so they don't move. You take these 2 cards as one, then you take this one, the fourth and the last card as 3, and the first card, which is the card that you reused, the 4th card. So the step number 1 is push. The second step, pull. Then bring it all the way down here. Notice there are several grips and several gestures that you can do, which I will discuss later. But move it all the way at the bottom. This is the greatest mistake that I see in a lot of magicians. When they reuse the card from the top to the bottom, they lift the middle finger. You're not supposed to lift any finger at all. Never lift any of these 3 fingers. You can relax the tips, okay? But you have to force the card and push it without moving the fingers. Never lift any finger. I see a lot of magicians, for some reason, they just lift the finger. When trying to move it, the top card from the top to the bottom, they lift the finger. Never do that, okay? So again, a quick recap: push, pull, reuse the card. The 4th step, taking the next one right here on the corner as the 4th step. And before you get rid of it, or these 2, make sure that the card that you reused, you pull it once again, so you don't expose this card, protruding this way. It has to be at least this way. Now, some illusionists, they prefer to keep the 4 cards as square as possible, just like that, without pushing and pulling the cards. I mean, they push and pull the cards, but they try not to make that really noticeable. However, I prefer to make those noticeables. I really think this looks more convincing, by separating the card. This is a really subjective issue. I'm going to leave that up to you, whether you like separating the cards like this to do the count, which I think it looks much better, or you can just keep them as square as possible. Try not to do any move. But I think the grip that I'm using and the fact that I'm separating the cards is much better and more secure for you to execute the Elmsley count. It's gonna work almost 99% of the time. You know, it's hard to fail this move, but it's not impossible, obviously. Now, this is the situation with the Jordon count. That's pretty much the same. You have to have the card all the way at the bottom in case you want to conceal the card all the way at the bottom. Now, you just do the same. You push the card, and then you bring it all the way at the bottom, and you reuse the card. Let me leave it face up so you can follow it. Bring it all the way at the bottom. So I'm not separating anything. Okay, I'm not using or doing any get ready. I'm gonna reload it and then push the card all the way on top once again. I'm gonna have to peel it off. The same thing as I did with a card in the step number 1, which is pushing the card. I'm gonna reload it and then push it again. Okay, and then push these two as one, and then reuse the first card once again as 4. So that's it. I mean, as long as you understand the Elmsley count, that's all. That's the main thing you need to know, and the main move you have to master more than any of the other moves. But I haven't been utilizing the rest of the moves except for a block push-up, which is the next move that I will explain, and the one I used in another performance that I call hallucinations. In case you want to watch that performance in which I utilize the Elmsley count and the block push-off, just go to the video description. It is a really nice performance though. So this is the way it goes. You just pretty much peel off the card all the way at the bottom. It's called block push-off because you pretty much pushing the whole block. Okay, you just retaining the card all the way at the bottom. So with my thumb, I'm pushing, or pretty much just pulling the card all the way at the bottom, pulling away. Okay, so take this whole block. I'm gonna leave it face up so you can follow the card all the way at the bottom. I push the block and then bring it back once again. So when I bring it back, I already doing peeling, pulling the card all the way at the bottom this way. So to ensure you're only pulling one card, which is one card all the way at the bottom and not two, so you don't expose the ace, is because my thumb is, half of my thumb is over the packet and half of my thumb is outside of the packet. So once again, retain one, take it away and bring it back as 2. Okay, these 2 cards always stay together, and then 3 and then 4. Okay, that's it. Okay, so once again, I'm reusing the card all the way at the bottom. Okay, 1, bring it back, but make sure before you bring it back you already pull the card all the way at the bottom. So to ensure it's only one card, the thumb is doing the move. Bring it all the way outside once again. 2, these 2 as 1, well as 2 because they are together. 3 and 4. Okay, and that's the main move, and that's all you need to know. Now there are several gestures for you to accomplish the Elmsley count. For example, some people, they do the Elmsley count, which is concealing the card there from the top, side to side. I don't like doing it side to side because you are exposing this side or this side, the reloading process. Okay, I'm gonna leave it face up so you can follow the reloading process, how you are flashing it. Okay, notice you can flash from here or from here. It's really tricky to keep it square or perfectly aligned, so it is better you do it from corner to corner like this. Okay, that's why I prefer doing it like this, from corner to corner. Now I notice when I watch some magicians in Mexico on TV, he was doing the Elmsley count from the back by pulling the cards. I don't really think that's a natural grip or a natural way to count the cards. Some other magicians, they say this hand has to be completely static and you just move this hand. You know, I don't think that's necessarily true. You can move a little bit this hand, not this much, but at least keep it natural. You know, I swing both hands, but I'm mainly swinging away with my hand that is holding the packet. well, no, I'm sorry, with my hand that I'm actually counting, taking away, is the main hand that is swinging away. But this hand, the one is holding the packet, I still, doing little moves, little gestures. Now, another way you can do this count is on a table, okay? So let me explain this one. You take 1, 2, 3, and 4. The one on the table is a little different. A move that I was thinking years ago, how you can do this move. It may be a little risky, but I think it looks natural. I also came across how to do it with one hand, but I never used that one, so I just leave it alone. If you want to know how the way I did it with one hand, just go to the video description and I'm gonna show you another video in which I did the Elmsley count using one hand. Another way you can do the Elmsley count is by snatching away, doing this. Okay, I don't know if that looks really natural, but that's one of the ways you can do this. Now the one on the table, let me explain it just in case you are really interested. I'm just peeling, I'm pushing the card all the way at the bottom and pulling the card all the way on top. So the two cards that are in the middle, they always stick together. They actually never separate. Holding the card all the way on top, so you can identify. Okay. So next, I'm gonna move this packet a little further to the front, so you can hold it over here, those two as one. Okay, and then I taking the card all the way at the bottom once again. I stole it. So 3 and 4. So that's it. That's what I did. Not a big deal. Okay, pull and push right before you start counting. Those two moves at the same time. 1, reuse this card, 2, and then move a little further, because if you try to push this card, the third one, right over, you may split those two cards as one. So I'd rather move a little further so I can use the mat, the card mat, or the surface, so I don't disturb these two cards, so I don't expose this one. So that's it. Those are our main gestures. Now the good thing about doing the Elmsley count is that you can use, or you can conceal more than one card. So whatever is in between the last one and the second card, whatever quantity is gonna get concealed, okay, by the same principle. So notice the index finger is halfway under, halfway outside, so when I push with my thumb, I ensure only one card is pushing, Then I'm putting the card all the way at the bottom. To ensure it's only one card, I'm using my thumb halfway over, halfway outside at the second step. Step number 3 is reusing the card all the way on top, okay, and put it right here. Notice I'm not lifting any finger, you have to just push it. It is really important. I don't know, for some reason magicians always, well, not everybody obviously, but I notice they lift the finger. And step number 4, clipping this little stack or everything, whatever bunch you have, just take it as 2, 3, and 4, okay. So just in case you come across with any performance, okay. So I think just separating the cards the way I explain it, it looks more natural and much better, and soft and smooth. Okay, it doesn't have to be too fast. I think when you do it really slow, okay, it looks nice. Now let me show you the performance that utilizes the Elmsley count, just the Elmsley count, okay. Now before I even explain the performance, let me perform it for you. I have you can see 4 aces, okay, black ace and also blue color in the back, okay. Now I'm gonna take one ace away and use this red king. It's not only red in the front, it's also red in the back. And by snapping my fingers, now every card becomes a king. Not only that, they also becomes red in the back. Let me try that once again. Okay, snapping the fingers, they'll go back to aces and also blue color. And that's it. You can just keep repeating this over and over. That's about it. And they'll be red. Okay. Now the tutorial. Let me go straight up. You have to buy the Pinnacle deck I think that's how it's called or pronounced. Notice the red ones, the two red kings are blue color, and the black aces are red in the back. Okay, they have to be like this, the kings and the aces all the way outside. But the spectator, they think that because it is a black ace, it is a blue back, and because it is a red king, it is a red back. So that's the main conscious or subconscious pattern. Since I have the ace over here all the way on top, that's the setup, those 4 cards, which is actually the opposite of the 2 cards, so the actual color that represent the front and the back in each card. So for a Elmsley count, I think this is called the hypnotic cards. I don't know, when you snap, they hypnotize. That's the purpose of snapping. Because I have the ace over here, all the way in the front, I'm gonna use the blue ace right there. Okay, so I have 5 cards. So just do the Elmsley count exactly as I already explained. Peel off 1 card and pull 1 at the bottom. Doesn't matter how many cards I have in the middle. Pull and push and pull. Okay, top and bottom, and reuse this ace, the first ace, once again, without lifting the fingers. That's really important. Just push. If you need, relax the tips of these fingers. Okay, so you can push it all the way in, and then take the next packet as 2. The bottom and the top, those are the cards that I'm using. You can flash the back when you are showing the faces, and then do the Elmsley count once again. That's all you have to do. But instead of putting the last card all the way on top, which is the king, I'm gonna put it all the way at the bottom. Okay, next card, which is the ace, I'm gonna leave it over there, and then the next king, I'm gonna place it all the way at the bottom. Okay, so then do exactly the same, the Elmsley count, exactly the same. You can show the back if you want, and then everything becomes red. Okay, the red ace goes all the way at the bottom. Do not show that, obviously. And you can repeat that every time you want it. Like I said, the purpose of this is just by snapping the fingers, all the cards, they hypnotize. And not only they change in the front, they also change in the back. Okay. And then I'm gonna use the red king, which is not only red in the back, it's also red in the front. Okay, I forgot to snap the fingers, but you know that's what you're supposed to do, and then do it in the front as well. Okay, remember, when you do the Elmsley count from the back, you have to place the last card, instead of over here on top, you have to move it to the bottom. Okay, so that's it, that's the routine. It is quite easy, and I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial.